Welcome back to the Kansas Flamingo Chef. I, of course, am Bill, the Kansas Flamingo Chef. You know, over the years, I've heard a lot of people tell me that you cannot cook a good steak on a pellet grill. I 100% disagree, and I'm going to show you how. But I'm going to do two things here because I don't like food without vegetables. I mean, I had a salad earlier, but I really don't want to bake potato this evening. It's too much starch. So, we've got some nice broccoli. I'm going to heat up some water here on the old stove, and all I'm using is just, let me turn this so you can see, just a small saute pan with a little bit of water in the bottom, just barely covering the bottom, and we're actually going to steam the broccoli right there on the stove. Now to do that, I've got a lemon, half of a lemon. I've got some Cavender's Greek seasoning. I've got a product that you can find at most Sam's Clubs. Now this is called Kinder's. I happen to really like this brand of seasoning. This particular one is Buttery Steakhouse. Now when you're marrying vegetables with steak, you need that depth of flavor. So this will give you that buttery flavor, and it'll still give you the garlic and some of the salt and the pepper and some of the herbs that you're wanting. At the same time, I've got this nice filet. This is about a 6.5 ounce filet, maybe a little heavier. I didn't really weigh it. We're going to use some Kinder's seasoning on this as well and cook it on the pellet grill, but instead of the buttery, I'm going to use the blend. Now, this is a way to cheat, quite frankly, because the only thing I'm going to put on a steak is salt, pepper, and garlic, and that's exactly what's in this container. I'm also going to use the magic olive oil. And that's it. So now my water's already steaming, or starting to. This is going to cook very quickly. So we're just going to turn this down to about a medium heat. Squeeze some lemon juice in the pan. Don't need the whole thing, maybe half. A little bit of the Cavender's seasoning and a little bit of the Buttery Steakhouse seasoning. Alright, and then we're just going to put our broccoli in there and let it steam while we cook the steak. I'm going to take you out to the grill. I've got it heating up to 400 degrees. I'm using a pellet combination of competition pellets, which is a blend, and also a little bit of mesquite pellets, so about 5 to 1. Okay, hopefully you can see and hear me. You can see the pellet grill's heating up. Right now it's at 260 and we've got good smoke going. So I actually want to get the steak on the grill before it gets up to heat, because I want to get some of that flavor in there. Now I've just rubbed this with a little bit of olive oil, and I'm going to just sprinkle a little of this seasoning right over the steak and just kind of pat it in, and do the same thing on the other side, because as Emerald Lagasse used to say, we want it to taste good on both sides. Alright, so now all we're going to do, just open this thing up. You've got good fire going. Before you put steak onto the grill, scrape. I don't care how clean you think your grill is, you're going to get transference. So you want to get that off of there in order to get a good steak. You can see the smoke coming here. I'm going to go ahead and set this right in the middle at the hottest position with heat. You've never seen one of these. There's actually a fire source that you can open up and reverse sear with. So we are going to reverse sear this steak to get the depth of flavor, but first I want to get some smoke into it. We're going to go ahead. You'll do that cooking almost instantaneously. So as soon as it starts to cook, go ahead and turn it over, get some of that color on both sides. Let this cook for just a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and close the hood, which I never recommend when cooking steak, but I want to bake in some of that smoky flavor. So bear with me. I'm going to turn it over. Steak has been under the cover for 2 minutes. That's all. Now I'm cooking this medium rare, so we don't want to leave this out here very long. Our temperature is now 335. You can see I've already got some color forming. Okay, so we're going to go turn that back over. But right now we're just below rare. I can tell you that without even seeing the meat. I just know. But we're going to turn this 90 degrees right over the heat source and let that cook for about another 2 minutes. Then we're going to open up the flame and reverse sear and cook all that flavor in. So I'll see you in 2 minutes. All right, welcome back. It's been 2 more minutes. We're going to open this hood up, and what you should see is a perfect rare steak. So I'm going to turn it over, just completely flip it, let it cook for about 30 seconds while I open up the flame, and then we're going to reverse sear it and get it up to medium rare. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah, that looks good. I'm going to show it to you. I don't recommend taking it off the fire over and over and over again, but you can see the color and the depth there, hopefully. So we're going to turn this over and set it right over the middle where the fire is going to come up from. And I'm going to open that flame. Now I'm going to reverse sear. I am not going to close the hood while I'm doing this. I'm just going to let the fire cook it. You can turn your grill all the way up to high if you want to. It really isn't going to make a difference because that pot is full of pellets and it's burning them away. And that's what's producing that flame. All right, so we're going to turn it over. I know how I like a steak. I know how long it takes to cook. If you're not sure about your times, you can always use your meat probe. Put that in there and keep checking your temperatures. Okay, we're going to turn this 90 degrees this way. We're going to let that sear for about 15 to 25 seconds. And then we'll turn it all the way over 90 degrees. We'll get those good char marks, and this thing will be done. We're right at medium rare, and I can touch that and tell you. So I'm going to close the flame, shut the pit boss off. Go ahead and take that off of there. All right, I'll see you when it's time to plate. And by the way, I've been steaming the broccoli the whole time on its own. It should be ready. Just walked into the kitchen. You can see the broccoli has just now run out of water, and you're getting that nice little browning going on. It's done, but we're going to deglaze this pan, so I'm going to turn the heat off and set my steak to the side for just a moment. Now you can deglaze with water, you can deglaze with wine, you can deglaze with apple cider, whatever you like. I'm just going to use a little bit of water. Take a spatula here. If you have a good non-stick pan, this is a Capelon, you're going to get all of that goodness rolling back in there. Because that stuff that you see on the bottom, that's going to be our sauce that's going to go onto this. But we're going to let it cook down for just a moment with the heat off. So as we plate this meal, there's not a lot to it. You could put a little olive oil on the base if you wanted to, or garlic butter, whatever suits your fancy. I am going to use a little garlic butter on top of the steak. And just to dress it a little bit, I've got some fresh red lettuce from my garden, which I'm going to tear the stem off and set that right there. And put the steak right across it for a little color. Roll this and let that juice fall to the steak. I'm just going to wrap this around a little bit, and then we'll take a little garlic butter and set it right on top of the steak and let it melt. And a little bit over here in the broccoli. And last but not least, I'm going to put a little grated Parmesan right over the top. Of the broccoli. Like that. And a little bit on the steak. and on the plate. I'll zoom in on it so you can see what it looks like. Give me just a second here. And there is the finished product. Let's serve it at this angle. There you go. All right, that's all there is to it, and I assure you that is a perfectly cooked medium rare steak on a pellet grill.